And given how well the Romanians performed in the women's 4 earlier, you know, they're the World Cup leaders here with their senior team, but I think their development crews are clearly giving some of the seniors a run for their money, given that women's 4 performance, like we said. But here is Australia 2. Now, we didn't see these guys in the preliminary race. They've saved their beans because they're all doubling up. You've got Annabelle McIntyre and Jess Morrison, who won the pair earlier on. They're in this crew. We've also got the 4 back again. Molly Goodman, Lily Alton, Olympia Aldersley, Jean Mitchell. So they've jumped back into this crew. Romania, like we say, we've got a returning under-23 world champion in this group, Christina Juga, in the 5 seats. So again, lots of talent, and a 15-year-old coxing the Romanians. And here are the Netherlands. 6 of this crew have under-23 medals to their name, and 3 under-23 world champions on board: Vera Schneiders, Marcia Dahmen, and Lisa Bruynings. And here are what we think will be the Australian women's 8 to be selected and announced very soon. Hayley Verbunt in the coxswain seat, Lucy Stephan, the Olympic champion from the women's 4, in the stroke seat, joined by Sarah Hall, Katrina Werry. And the bell's still ringing here as overhang from that Swiss silver medal. But a lovely bookend of the 2 Australian crews in lanes 1 and 4 here that will go toe-to-toe, lots of talent across their sweep squad, and then the 2 development crews sandwiched in the middle. How must that feel, Martin, to be one of these kind of aspiring athletes in the Romanian and Dutch crews and racing some of your Olympic heroes?
Yeah, it's incredible, because there are women here who are going to win Olympic gold medals, and I think for the Dutch crew, coached by Pete Weersum, who is himself an Olympian. He coxed the Dutch 8 in the 2012 Olympics, taking this crew to the Henley Regatta. But Australia won. They are turning the tables from what they did in Lucerne. This is a beautiful rhythm they've got. Really cohesive, really fluid. Coached, of course, by John Keogh, the Australian who runs the women's programme, and they've put Lucy Stephan in the stroke seat, the Olympic champion for women's 4s, and she is an absolute firecracker, Lucy Stephan, born at Nihil in Victoria, and there you can see Lucy. She's really got a beautiful fluid rhythm, and it's made a big difference. Paige Barr has gone back into the bow seat. She was at stroke, and that is Hayley Verbunt, the coxswain, the 21-year-old, inspired by Kendall Brodie, of course, the mercantile coxswain. That is a hell of a lead to have at 500 metres.
Yeah, it really is, and this Australian crew, I think, characteristically have tended to go out quite hard and then sort of been concertinaed up by the rest of the field. But so let's see if they've learned their lessons in this second half of the race. They do look like they're keeping a lid on it, though. The intensity there, but the patience and the sort of gliding coming with it. There is the cox of the Dutch crew, of this Dutch development 8. Great to see Sarah Kalf there on board, the 27-year-old.
She's a criminologist, and she coxed this Dutch development 8 in the fixture against Cambridge earlier in the year. They look to have the margin just look to be a little longer, a little fluid on that second Australian boat. But I'll tell you what, these women in Australia 1, they believe if they hit it right on the day, they could win a gold medal. And Sarah Hoare has just got a beautiful length behind Lucy Stephan in the 7th seat. The Tasmania, well, she rows for Huon. I'm not sure if she was born in Tasmania, but she certainly rows for Huon Rowing Club in Tasmania, really setting up Lucy Stephan well to deliver her fireworks. And yeah, I think there's some nice cohesion there. You look at the blades, a little bit out, maybe on the 3-seat Olympia. No, it's not Olympia, it's Georgie Rowe, the powerhouse. But that looks nice, that looks fluid. Now, what they need to do in this 3rd quarter is they need to put another length on that field, Camilla. If they're going to be racing the Americans, if they're going to be racing the British, think about the Romanian women, this is who their competition is. They've got to kind of put the other crews to bed, and they've got to stretch out in this third quarter.
I couldn't agree more with you, Martin. I think they need somewhat of like a boastful lead almost to come away from Poznan. And their greatest competition at the moment coming from their teammates over in lane number 1, who've managed to switch it up with the Netherlands.
Yeah, it's a nice move, actually. And this Australia 2 boat, and they've got Molly Goodman, Jess Morrison and Annabelle McIntyre, which was the Stern 3 combination that Australians rode in 2019, where they had that fantastic battle for gold with the New Zealanders. I think it was the Kiwis who ended up taking gold in 2019, but they're reunited. Jess Morrison's idea, the 7-woman, to do the Australian second 8, and what a fantastic idea. And the Dutch just not able to hang on to this third quarter pace that Australia 2 have put out. But can Australia 1 move away from their teammates? They haven't so far, Camilla. And that big third quarter we asked for is not quite materialised. They're well into their rhythm. It's very solid, it's very fluid throughout the race. They're working really hard in their rhythm. Jean Mitchell there just going through the picture. There's Lucy Steffen. You can see the pain etched on her face.
Yeah, Molly Goodman there stroking that Australia 2 crew.
Apologies, that was Australia 2.
And they've all raced, well, most of them have raced once already. Molly Goodman in the 4, and as we said, Jess and Annabelle in the pair. It's a fun boat, this is. You know, they wanted to get more racing experience whilst they were here, whilst they're in Europe. And this Australia 2 crew have nothing to lose, really. The Australia 1 crew now in picture. They're fresh-legged, they are here to prove a point, and like Martin's just said, I think they need to conquer this race with real style if they want to be in with a shout. But here they go with nothing to lose. Australia 2, driven on by Hannah Coop in the coxswain seat. She was just coxing the bronze medal crew in the PR3 mixed 4s, I believe. Oh no, maybe not bronze medal crew. They were further back in the field, weren't they? But still, she's jumped from that PR3 mixed coxed 4s and has now driven them to overlap here in the final 500 metres. That's a long distance to make up in an 8 still.
That's 200 metres to go. We passed that marker for the canoeing race as we come up to the finish line.
Yeah, 200 metres to go. We're well through this final 500 metres. Look at the Dutch here who have stapled themselves onto the stern of Australia 2, used their pace to keep them in it through the final 500 for the podium. But it's going to be an Aussie 1-2, I think, here. We've got the Dutch who will wind it up through these red boys to a marvellous bronze medal, and more points here for the Dutch in that overall World Cup standing, so something on the line for them more than a medal. But Australia 1 will take gold, 3/4 of a length up on Australia 2. The Dutch stopping just before the line. That was closely called there by the Netherlands, but crucial points here for the World Cup standings for the Dutch development crew. Romania will slide home over the line. I think they were a little flawed by the pace there of the leading 3 crews. But Australia, no big celebrations.
No, and to my way of thinking, they would have wanted to have put clear water between themselves and Australia 2. It wasn't there, and you know, they took it out beautifully. They are really composed. A little bit slow off, but you'd expect that with all the lactate in their legs for this Australia 2 boat. But they found something in the last part of the race, moved right back on Australia 1, and well, I do think this Australian women's 8 could win gold. That's for sure. But they will need to produce something different, something we haven't quite seen yet this season to get a gold medal.
Yeah, indeed. But we'll see. 7 crews will contest at the Olympic Games in Paris next month. Australia being one of them, but this crew that doubled up, a great fun project for them. I think sensible for them to get as much international competition as possible and practice racing on those tired legs. And Australia were victim to that programme change we were talking about, McIntyre and Morrison with the women's pair, so that more racing they can get under their belts in tired conditions, I think will prove fruitful. so difficult for them to stay in Europe, and great to see them here contesting at Poznan. So, on to
the medal results.
the medals, but confirmed there, it seems that Romania, I think, overall victors in the World Rowing Cup.